Tonight, the nation's pinnacle of justice and truth is under fire. The FBI has been called out for producing years of flawed DNA evidence. We have the details.
Later, ISIS has once again shocked the world with its brutality. The militant group has expanded into another region. We'll fill you in on all the latest in the fight against terrorism.
Plus, yesterday marked the 118th Boston Marathon. We remember the tragedy 2 years ago and celebrate how far the city has come to remain Boston strong.
And welcome to the MCTV Weekly News Update. Today is Tuesday, April 21st, 2015. I'm Danny Horbiak.
And I'm Jamie Cornelia. We begin tonight with a story that's rattling the nation. Reports show that evidence examined and analyzed by the FBI are being found to have many errors made by them. Before DNA was used to solve the crime, the FBI utilized hair follicles to identify criminals. The new discoveries suggest that close to 300 of these cases have been botched. These cases include the conviction of 18 criminals that have been sentenced to death row. 12 of them had errors either in their testimony or lab reports. The FBI is hoping to release those wrongly convicted and bring justice on those who deserve it.
ISIS has been off the radar for quite some time, but it seems like they are trying to make a comeback by expanding into the country of Libya. The radical Islamic group released yet another video of them executing their prisoners. The victims are two groups of Ethiopian Christians, a group that ISIS seems to be targeting more than any other. In the video, the narrator describes that these deaths are a retribution for the Muslim blood spilled by Christians. Once again, ISIS continues to concern the public.
Yesterday was the 118th Boston Marathon, which brought in runners from across the world. For many, running this marathon has been a lifelong dream, and the 2013 attack has not discouraged that. Although some of the runners participated in that race, crossing the finish line only hours before the attack, they were determined to return in the following years. Chris Welch is in Boston with the details.
With 1 million watching, the 2015 Boston Marathon kicked off Monday morning. 2 hours and 9 minutes later, Lelisa Desisa of Ethiopia won the race, with Kenya's Caroline Rotich winning the women's division in 2 hours and 24 minutes. The race comes 2 years after a pair of bombs were detonated at the finish line, killing 3 people and injuring hundreds more. It also comes a day before the sentencing of one of the men behind the attack, Jahar Sarnayev. Security at the race is tight, with a small army of officers keeping runners and spectators safe. More than 24 survivors of the blast are running in this year's marathon. They say this race is not about the bombing or the man behind it.
This is about moving forward. It's about healing. It's about finding a path to continue forward.
Actor Sean Astin ran the race for the Martin Richard Foundation, named after the 8-year-old boy killed in the blast.
I spent 2 months turning what was a news story that moved me out in front of me to something that's deeply personal now.
In Boston, I'm Chris Welch reporting.
After the deadly shipwreck off the coast of Italy on Saturday that claimed hundreds of lives, new reports state that 3 other migrant boats may be in danger in the waters of the Mediterranean Sea. Migrants have attempted the perilous journey across the Mediterranean for years, but the number has skyrocketed within the past 10 days. Saturday's shipwreck provokes grave concern for the ships that are currently attempting the journey. With overpopulated living quarters and structurally unsound boats, the likelihood of tragedy is extremely high. This year alone, over 900 refugees and migrants have died in situations similar to this in making the perilous journey to Europe. Authorities are calling this, quote, nothing short of a genocide, and are working on rescuing those stranded at sea, as well as preventing additional instances from occurring.
Wow, that's so sad to hear. I hope they really fix that, because I heard that Italy was stopping their rescue teams and cutting back.
Oh man, yeah. I know recently in terms of transportation, people have been really worried, boats, planes with everything that's been going on, so hopefully we can figure this out and move on.
Yes, hopefully. Well, luckily for us, it has been smooth sailing in the weather.
Let's go to Peter Malavenda with our weekly highs and lows report. Peter?
3, 2. Hey everyone, I hope you all got outside and enjoyed Marist Beach this weekend. The weather was perfect, everything we've all been waiting months for. And if you didn't make it outside, Instagram told you everything you needed to know. Just look behind me. #MyMarist, #Marist Beach, everywhere. Sad news though, this week's weather is not looking as bright. Much of the Northeast and Great Lakes region will feel cooler temperatures as a dip in the jet stream is allowing waves of cold air to come down from Canada into our region. AccuWeather is predicting steady northwesterly winds, which will help pump that colder air into our region. Despite all that, I think we're going to be out of the woods pretty soon. The average date of our last freezing temperature is April 30th. So that's just a week away, and fingers are crossed that warm weather is coming. Also making headlines this week is the threat for severe thunderstorms in the Gulf region. Last week, violent storm cells devastated northern Florida. At least 2 tornado touchdowns were confirmed, causing significant property damage. This week, Oklahoma, Texas, and parts of Louisiana are bracing for the same. Warm, humid air from the Gulf of Mexico is feeding into the jet stream following out of the south, which is creating a perfect storm situation for Midwesterners. And while tornadic activity is not out of the question, people living or driving anywhere from Houston to Oklahoma should expect wind gusts from 50 to 60 miles an hour, flash flooding, and hail. Not my type of weather. Heading home now, today was pretty much where we're supposed to be for this time of year. Had a high of 64 degrees and a low of 40, which is right near our average of 63 degrees and 39 degrees. The record was 84 and 27, which is pretty extreme for this time of season. Your sunrise was at 6:07 a.m. and your sunset was at 7:43. Typical day. Now, for tonight, we can expect patchy clouds and the low will be around 40. Slight southerly breeze should take the edge off. Tomorrow will be dreary. There's a 30% chance of thunderstorms in the afternoon, so bring your umbrellas to class. As for the rest of the week, it's looking 50-50. We're going to start off cloudy. It's going to get nicer and nicer. Temperatures will stay in the mid-60s, drop down to the low 50s, 60 on Sunday, 60 on Monday. So you shouldn't need a coat. It's going to get nice, but just be prepared for sprinkles anytime throughout the week. That's all we have for you this week with your weekly highs and lows report. I'm Peter Malavenda. Back to you guys.
If you're looking for a little change of scenery during one of these beautiful spring days, a trip to Rhinebeck might be a good idea. The small, quaint town about 10 miles up Route 9 has been named one of the most charming in America, according to the widely popular magazine Country Living. Rhinebeck is full of rich history, delicious restaurants, quaint shops, and most notably, a wonderful farmers market in the fall. A full list of the other winners can be accessed on Country Living's website.
With the weather warming up, Marist students are changing their coffee orders, throwing away those hot cups and starting to sip on the famous Starbucks Frappuccinos. The world's best seller of caffeinated beverages is introducing a new summer flavor, s'mores. The specialty drink is expected to hit stores on April 28th and will only be available for a limited time. Concern amongst health enthusiasts arose when the company declined to release the caloric information about the new flavor. CEO Howard Schultz admits the company will always have indulgent products, but that healthy options exist along with the beverage for everyone on the menu.
Starbucks isn't the only fast food chain changing things up. Burger Baron McDonald's is beginning to serve breakfast all day long, in case 10:30 a.m. is too early for a deadline for you to grab an Egg McMuffin. You may be able to get your fix at any time. Nearly 100 restaurants in San Diego are piloting the upgraded menu. Response seems to be in favor of extended breakfast hours. As of right now, you'll only be able to buy select items after noon. McDonald's hopes to grow the menu and the program into next year.
You know, Jamie, that is some good news to hear. I
Yes.
love me Starbucks, I love me some McDonald's, so these two stories, absolutely perfect for me.
Perfect combination. I mean, Frappuccino is what I love to get at Starbucks. So.
And a s'mores
Yeah.
Frappuccino, sign me up
Yeah.
for 12.
And the gym this summer, too. I'll need that.
Don't remind me of that. Coming up after the break, President Obama has some harsh words for the Senate. We'll tell you why.
Plus, details about a relationship on the mend. We'll fill you in on how the U.S. and Cuba are working out their problems after this.
Yo, Drew, I got your text. What's up?
I don't know. Jake's been quoting lines from Pulp Fiction all day.
Yo, Jake, what's up?
I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing.
What are you even saying?
Say what again?
Who say what?
Does he look like a bitch?
We are literally the only two people in this room right now.
That is a tasty burger.
Do we call a doctor or something?
I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger.
Now that's a threat.
The Middle Seats, every other Thursday, only on MCTV.
President Obama blasted the Senate during a press conference on Friday, calling the stalled nomination of soon-to-be Attorney General Loretta Lynch, quote, embarrassing. Obama nominated Lynch for Attorney General 160 days ago, making this the longest stall in a confirmation since the Reagan administration. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is holding up the nomination as incentive for the Democrats to drop a filibuster on a human trafficking bill and refuses to tap the nomination until the issue is resolved. The president cited this type of negotiation as political gamesmanship, saying, quote, "These are times where dysfunction in the Senate just goes too far, and this is an example of it."
New York Governor Andrew Cuomo is traveling to Havana this week, making him the first governor to visit Cuba since the improvement in relations between the U.S. and the communist country. Cuomo said that greater ties to Cuba could, quote, help open the door to a new market for New York businessmen. However, critics say the visit is more about politics than trade deals. Cuomo will be accompanied by Assembly Speaker Carl Heastie and multiple business executives, including the CEOs of JetBlue and Chobani Yogurt.
Baltimore's mayor and police chief are promising to be thorough and transparent in investigating the death of Freddie Gray. Gray was seriously injured during his arrest, and he died Sunday. Protests flooded the streets of Baltimore as people wait for answers, while Gray's family claims there's a cover-up. CNN's Suzanne Malveaux reports.
Gray! His leg look broke! Look at his leg!
That is Freddie Gray.
Look at his leg! That boy's leg look broke!
Being detained a week ago by Baltimore police. The question now, how did the 25-year-old go from this to this, lapsing into a coma less than an hour later and dying yesterday?
The questions that many of you have are the same questions that we're asking.
The attorney for Gray's family alleges the police are covering up what really happened. Baltimore police say they spot Gray and begin to approach him at 8:39 in the morning on April 12th. For reasons not yet disclosed. They say Gray immediately runs away. Just a minute later, police take Gray into custody. And then 14 minutes later, at 8:54 in the morning, this is the first video we see of the event. Officers load Gray into the police van. Police say video evidence indicates Gray is conscious and speaking at the time. A half hour later, police request paramedics bring Gray to a hospital. Gray's family attorney says he lapsed into a coma and underwent extensive surgery. His spinal cord was severely injured, and a week later, he died at 7 in the morning. So two looming questions. Why did police pursue Gray? And what happened to him while he was in their custody that resulted in his death?
The officers believed that Mr. Gray was either immediately involved or had been recently involved in criminal activity. And they decided to make contact with Mr. Gray. Now that is still a bit vague.
This most recent mystery into a deadly police encounter sparking more outrage.
No justice, no peace!
In a nation already embroiled in debate over police tactics and use of force. Though in this most recent encounter, Baltimore's mayor promises answers.
I want citizens to know exactly how it happened. And if necessary, I will ensure that we will hold the right people accountable.
Now on to sports news.
Here's Olivia Jakewith with your update on sports.
With this week in sports. Spring football is in full swing at Marist, with Red defeating White in the annual spring game on Saturday. Defensive plays were crucial in this game, with 3 out of 4 turnovers coming from the White team. Sophomore linebacker Ruben Avalos had a fumble recovery, while freshman linebacker Connor Kanchak and sophomore cornerback Carter Odenweller had interceptions for White. For Red, freshman safety Jordan John Felix picked off a pass, and junior linebacker Jimmy Braun blocked a punt. That same day, the men's lacrosse team remained unbeaten in MAC play and earned the top seed in the postseason tournament with a 15-3 victory at Manhattan. The Red Foxes extended their winning streak to 5 games and earned the right to host the MAC championships with an overall record of 10-3 and 5-0 in conference play. Speaking of collegiate successes, Tim Tebow is officially back in the NFL. The record-setting all-SEC quarterback is a 3-time Heisman finalist and 2-time national champion, leading Florida to the title in 2006 and 2008. After 2 seasons with the Broncos and 1 with the Jets, where he played with current Eagles quarterback Mark Sanchez, Tebow went to work for ESPN and as an analyst for the SEC network. Now the Eagles have added this 27-year-old to a crowded roster to try to jumpstart an NFL career that has been on hold since he played his last NFL game in 2012. Johnny Manziel is making a different kind of comeback with his return to the Cleveland Browns facility yesterday. Voluntary conditioning is the first stage of off-season workouts in the young quarterback's quest to repair his image within the Browns locker room and attempt to win back the organization that drafted him in the first round. That's all for this week. Back to you guys.
Cancer is all too common these days, affecting millions of people, but a new method of blood test shows promise in the ongoing fight against the disease. In a typical biopsy, research labs use a piece of tumor to study. In the new liquid screening, developed by SRI Biosciences, no more but a simple blood test is needed to detect any bit of cancer DNA in the blood. This new method, called fiber optic array scanning technology, or FastCell, is the most sensitive cancer detection technology on the market, identifying one single cell amongst 26 million in a minute. The next step for the scientist in charge is to figure out how to use this incredible discovery to its best potential.
On Sunday, American fashion brand Lilly Pulitzer released a collaboration line with Target, and the lines to get the lower-priced preppy clothes circled parking lots. This is not the first time that Target has done a designer collaboration. Past brands have included Jason Wu and Missoni, both of which were extremely successful. The Pulitzer collaboration was no different in the Target website, being bombarded and stores selling out within minutes. Many of the items are now on sale on eBay at a high markup, since no more shipments will be coming into the Target stores.
Did you Google something on your phone today? If you did, you may have noticed that some of the top search hits have changed. The search giant is changing its algorithm so that the top results on a mobile search are phone-friendly websites. Google would rather its consumer access websites that are easy to interact with on mobile devices, as opposed to more popular sites that may be difficult to read on your iPhone. The new update is predicted to alter more than 1 in 10 searches.
However, you don't have to worry about your phone messing with your entertainment searches.
Andrew Auger is here with This Week in Entertainment. Hey, Andrew.
Hey everyone, this is This Week in Entertainment. Let's be honest, the 80s and 90s were kind of a cheesy time. I mean, this was a time period where parachute pants were a fashionable wardrobe choice, where it was acceptable to wear your hair so that it looked like a dead raccoon. No amount of hairspray and neon colors can make either of those things look cool. But a couple of cool things did come out of those decades, like John Stamos and Bob Saget. Okay, so I guess Full House wasn't the coolest program on television, and the Olsens aren't what you would call stable human beings, but there's a charm to watching those episodes now that really tickle my heart. Will that charm hold up in brand new episodes? Netflix sure hopes so, as they've announced a special reunion special and a spin-off series focused on the adventures of the oldest Tanner sister, DJ. The spin-off, titled Fuller House, will feature DJ, Stephanie, and Kimmy Gibbler, with John Stamos guest starring and executive producing. Other cast members are negotiating to return, and the series is set to be Everywhere You Look next year. Speaking of Everywhere You Look, what a week for movie trailers. The second teaser trailer for Star Wars The Force Awakens debuted last Thursday. We got a better look at what that film's going to look like, and also a good look at how old Harrison Ford got. They have Just for Men for situations just like you, man. The second trailers for Ant-Man and Fantastic Four dropped, and both films look better. They hit in July and August, respectively. Finally, the first look at the highly anticipated Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice premiered last week. There isn't a whole lot of footage yet, and the footage we did get opened up plenty of more questions. Why does Batman look like he's going to a rave? Is Superman a villain? Holy crap, how many raw eggs did Ben Affleck eat? Hopefully all of those questions will be answered when the film hits theaters on March 25th, 2016. For films that you can see now, Furious 7 was the champion of the box office for the third straight weekend, adding another $29 million and inching closer to the $300 million mark. Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 was second with $24 million, and Unfriended was third with $16 million. This week features Blake Lively period drama Age of Adeline as Hollywood takes a breather and prepares itself for the juggernaut that is Avengers Age of Ultron. That's it for entertainment this week. I'm Andrew Auger. That's all I have to say. This week on my show, The Middle Seats, we review Unfriended. That's every week, unless I forget to do my laundry and I'm all out of button-downs. Only on MCTV.
Talk about a bizarre getaway. Last week, 8-year-old Brock Guzman was sleeping soundly in his parents' car in the driveway of their home while waiting to be driven to school when a stranger got in the car and drove away. After an Amber Alert was called, an alert citizen spotted the car parked in a vacant parking lot with the thief nowhere to be found. According to the boy, the thief didn't realize the young boy was in the car when he tried to steal it. The suspect is still at large, and the only evidence the police have is the bike he left at the scene of the crime.
Many people are dead set on their political opinions, but few take it as far as writing it into their obituary. 81-year-old Larry Darrell Upright of North Carolina passed away last week, but he clearly wasn't ready to take his political views with him. The obituary found on the funeral home's website reads normally about his life and interests. That is, until the last line reading, quote, "The family respectfully asks that you do not vote for Hillary Clinton in 2016. Upright's daughter said that her father was a passionate Republican whose dying wish was to make sure his political opinion was heard, even from beyond the grave."
Well, that's all the news that's new tonight. Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to check out our Instagram and YouTube pages. I'm Danny Horbiak.
And I'm Jamie Cornelia. Good night.